Hello and welcome to another video here in TD channel. On this video we're gonna take the next step in the process of writing the MDD cache reader that we've been writing over the last several sets of videos. If you guys remember where we left off on our last video, we implemented the deformation and we were able to run this script that I have here on the screen. And if I select everything and run it, we got to the point where the MDD data was being loaded, it was being placed on the right location, and to test the animation, what we were doing is we would be changing the parameter values like this right here. We would run that and we could verify, hey, if I change to 10 it changes, or if I go to 15 it works. However, this is not how you want your script to work. Usually you want to ship your plugin with where instead of doing this, let me see here. Alright, well, there is a way to make this bigger, but I can't remember. Someone posted on one of the comments. But anyways, instead of typing this here, deformer type, and then setting the attribute like this, you want to ship your plugin with something that behaves more like a standard Maya plugin, where basically you have the command and then you can like give it a name and give it several flags. Like for example, this one is the offset, this one would be the cycling, this is the file that you want to read, and then at the end you tell it which object you want to append this to. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to go through the process of writing the command that we're going to need. This video is a little bit advanced. We have another video that explains how to write commands for Maya, inside a plugin using Python. So I'm not gonna backtrack too much. I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it. So this is my shell right here. I'm going to navigate to my desktop and then see the channel code. And then here I have an MDD folder, and here, if I remember correctly, I'm going to make this full screen. If I remember correctly, here I have the tdcMddRead file, which is the one that we've been developing so far. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, and here you see that under the initialization of the plugin, we're registering a node, and here we're deregistering a node. Well, if you want to add a command with your plugin, to make sure that it loads and is registered whenever the person loads the plugin, here's where you would have to register your command. So we're going to go ahead and go over here and just start typing. We're going to do register command, and here we're going to do mplugin.register command. And here we're going to type tdcMddRead command name. And actually this is supposed to be tdc. Then we're going to do tdcMddRead command creator. And then finally we're going to do tdcMddRead syntax creator. Okay, so that being done, we just register the script. There's several things that we still have to fill out, but that's the process of registering the command. And then down here we're going to go ahead and unregister the command by doing mplugin.deregis node tdc. I'm sorry, this should be ktdcMddRead command name. Alright, so that being done, let me make the screen a little bit bigger though. Okay, that way you guys can read a little bit better. So now we have to go ahead and define some of the things that we're going to be using up here. So if you click here and you find I haven't defined this constant or this variable yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new location over here. Let me fold all my code. So let me copy this. We'll put this over here. And we're gonna type here node, so we know that that's where we're defining the node. And we're gonna copy this and we're gonna put it down here. And here we're gonna put command, so we know that this is where the command begins. So I'm gonna start defining right now some of the constants that we're gonna need throughout our script. And this is just I would say it's good practice to, whenever you're going to be dealing with strings, try to create a constant for it. That way, if for some reason at some point you decide to change your mind, you don't have to go and track everything that you've typed. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and start typing. I'm going to go do tdcMddRead command cmd name, and this is going to be equal to tdcMddRead. So that's going to be the name of the command. Then we're going to do tdcMddRead file flag. This is going to be -f. tdcMddRead long file flag. And here we're going to do file. Same thing, tdcMddRead. Here we're going to do an offset flag. And this is going to be -o. And then let me just copy this. It's probably going to be easier. Read offset long. So the long flag is going to be offset, the full word. Then we're going to do one for cycle. Let me put this back here. We're going to do one for cycle, which is going to be -c, cycle, cycle long, and there's going to be cycle. All right. Then we're going to do one more for the name. Basically, when you pass a command, a lot of times you want to give it the name of the node that you're trying to create instead of just having Maya pick whatever it wants. So we're going to add a flag for that. So we're going to copy this 2 times, and we're going to do MDD name, and the name flag is going to be N. We're going to tap this, and then we're going to do name long flag, and that one's just going to be the full word name. So there we have some of our constants. Now let's move into the next thing. Now if you look over here, some of the things it needed was a command creator and a syntax creator. So let's go ahead and start creating the command creator. And this is going to be pretty similar to what we have done in the past. So we're going to just do this creator, and then define tdcMddRead cmd creator, and then here we're going to do return ompx as mpx pointer ptr, and then we're going to do tdcMddRead command. We have not implemented that yet, but that's kind of what we need. And then we're going to go ahead down here and do our syntax. So I'm going to be explaining things a little bit better as we move along. So here we're going to go ahead and do define tdcMddRead syntax creator. Okay, so here the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a syntax object. So syntax is going to is going to be an instance of om.mSyntax, and mSyntax is it's a utility class inside of the MyAPI. So now what we're going to do is start adding flags to this syntax object. So we're going to do syntax.addFlag, and we're going to do tdcMddRead MDD read file flag. Oh, I can't type today. Read file flag. So first you give it the short one, then you give it the long one. So now we're gonna do tdcMddRead file long. tdcMddRead file long flag. So this should be long flag over here. File long flag. So once you pass that, then the next thing you need to do is tell it what kind of attribute is this going to be, this flag handling. So this flag is going to be dealing with a string attribute because that's the name of the file that we're going to pass it. It can't be a number or anything. It just needs to be a string. So for this, we're going to use a constant that's stored inside the OpenMaya mSyntax object or class, and you just say kString. So basically, this lets it know that the new flag is going to be a string. So now we need to do the same for the other one. So we're going to do syntax.addFlag tdcMddRead offset flag. tdcMddRead offset long flag. And what does this need to be? Well, this is going to be an offset, so chances are this is going to have to be a double. So we're going to do omSyntax dot k double. Now we're going to do one more. Syntax dot add flag tdcMddRead cycle flag, and then tdcMddRead cycle long flag. And what is this going to be? This is going to be a boolean. So we're going to do om.mSyntax.k boolean. So we created that, and then finally we're gonna create the one for the name for the node. So we're gonna do syntax.add flag, and here we're gonna do tdcMddRead name flag, and then tdcMddRead name long flag. And this is also going to be a string, so we're going to do om.mSyntax kString. Okay, so those are done. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to let this syntax object know that it can take an extra string at the end of the command, which is going to be what we're going to use for passing the object. Like for instance, if I show you guys over here, if you look at the command, let me make this bigger. So hard to grab just the edge. Screw it. So if you go over here, you see we have the command, a whole bunch of flags, and at the end of the flags on this line we have the name of the object that we want to use. So that's what this is going to allow you to do. So we're going to go back to our script, and here we're going to tell it, we're going to do syntax dot add argument om.syntax dot kString. And the final last things we need to do is we need to do syntax dot enable query, because we want people to be able to use this command to query the different arguments and the different components of our script. And then we're going to do syntax dot enable edit, because we want people to be able to edit this node and the relationship or whatever attributes it has by script also. We don't want to be able to just create the script and then, you know, if you want to change something, you have to do it only by hand. We, as technical directors, we should always give the users a way to change things programmatically. So enable edit, and this is going to be true also. And then finally, we're going to return the syntax. Right? So at this point, the only thing we're really missing is the definition of this class right here, as far as I know. Let me make sure. Let's see the register command. We have the command creator. And if we search for this, it is there. And then we have this one, and it's there. So, okay. So now all we need to do is implement this class over here. So I'm going to do a quick implementation of it, and I'm not really going to do much with it. So just to make sure that we can load this script. So I'm going to go here and do command class, and here we're going to do class tdcMddRead command, and this is going to inherit from ompx.mpx command. Then we're going to do our initializer. And in here we're going to call the parent initializer, ompx.mpx command dot init self. All right, and then the last thing we would have to do to make things at least load, we're going to go ahead and do the doit function, which is the one that will handle the computation or whatever you want to do inside your command. For example, whenever we did the deforming plugin up here, let me go up really quick. Let's see. For example, when you are doing a deformer node, like over here, the one function that you have to override or create yourself is the deform one, because that's the one that is going to handle all the deformation. For a command, all you have to do is implement the doit command. So I'm just going to go out here and do define doit, and then self, and then argument list. Right? So once this is done, I'm going to go ahead here and just do print MDD. And this is just going to print something really quick whenever we go ahead and create it. So now that we have this loaded, we're going to go ahead and try to load the script. Hopefully we won't have that many errors. If we do, I'm going to probably pause the recording, fix things or two, and then try to make things work. So I'm going to go over here first. Let's go ahead and clear this guy. Let's see, it already doesn't like something. tdcMddRead command name. It's not defined. So let's go back here. I think I made a mistake when I defined it. Yeah, there you go. TDS, it's supposed to be TDC. So we do that, we try reloading this, failed to unregister node, tdcMddRead. So something's wrong right now, so we're gonna go ahead and give it a fix. Bear with me and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so after a little bit of digging, I was able to find the errors that I had. Basically, there were a couple of things. I'm just gonna go over here and point them out. Number one was over here where it says add argument. I didn't have this M, so I had that, and that's why we're getting this mistake with the syntax. But after that, as I was trying to load and unload the plugin, I kept getting weird behavior, and I think it's because all the way down here I had a couple of mistakes. One of them was, instead of doing the register command, I had this node, and also I think here I had that. So I had a typo over here, and I was trying to register a node, which usually takes a a hexadecimal integer as an ID. So because of this, the first time I tried to load the plugin, it loaded this bad code, and after that, every time I tried to unload it, it wouldn't unload at all. And the only way to fix these problems when you do that is to actually close down Maya and start it up until you have a proper load and unload command. So we're going to go ahead and change this back. So command, and we're going to make sure that this is deregister. It's properly spelled. And that being done, I think we should be able now to load the plugin. So I'm going to go over here to this empty scene, and if I run this, it should say unload. It should say unloaded plugin, loaded plugin, and if I run this guy, let me clear the history. If I load this line right here, it prints MDD, and then it prints the object that is part of the argument list. So if we go back over here, we're going to see that the do it portion, let me do this, the do it portion right here, that's what it does. It prints MDD and it prints arg list, which is what we're getting over here. So at this point, our plugin is now loading, and it is supporting our new command. So now what we have to do is go ahead and implement the logic of the command. That's going to take a little bit of time, so we're going to leave that for another video. So thank you very much for listening, and see you guys in the next video.